And hello, everybody, and welcome back to maybe, I don't know, the last interview of the day. Maybe, I don't know, of Star West 2025. And we are back here with an awesome thought leader that we have seen on multiple places and conferences all over the years. I'm happy to walk into him here and there. We were sharing stories off camera before starting. Kevin Pyles, how are you?
Excellent. Thank you
It's
for having me.
it's such a pleasure to have you here. We were having a blast here, just reminiscing on all of the conference adventures. They are great adventures,
Great
actually.
adventures all over the world.
Yeah. Like we by not casualty. It's like we go to the conference
Yeah,
all
yeah.
together. He's part of kind of like what I define the conference family. That it's not my conference friends or along. It's kind of like a family. You walk into them, you're together, your war brothers, that
Yeah.
brothers in arms. Is that's the
Brothers
right
in
saying?
arms. Yeah, yeah.
That we are here all on the field, sharing the knowledge, sharing lots of. I'm getting ahead of myself, Kevin. For yeah, it's. I think the coffee's kicking in, right? I think I'm
the,
feeling
the
it.
conference coffee is working.
No, actually, I was just having some espresso, so that's why you see me so chirpy and
Yeah, nice,
awake.
nice.
Red Bull gives you wings. Kevin, before we start, we keep rolling on this fun conversation. Would you mind sharing to the audience who you are, what do you do, why you are here at this conference and many other conferences, and what makes you special?
Oh, I'm gonna have to think about that one. The other stuff I could do. So, you introduced me as Kevin Pyles. So I'm from Utah. I currently I live in Eagle Mountain. For those Utahns out there, I'm sure
Hello,
most
Utah.
of you are from Utah. No, but I work for a company called FamilySearch, and we do genealogy, family history, family tree. So if you are looking for old documents to identify your family, we might have it. And where I come into all of that is I'm on a team called the ACE team, which we do. Okay, you get all these stupid acronyms, right? And then people don't remember what the acronyms
All
are.
over
But
the place. Yeah. Especially in IT.
yeah, yeah, and we just make up even more as we go. So we use AI to transcribe, translate all of these old documents, and we convert them into text and data so that you can find them. Because
Hmm.
otherwise, they sit in some, and especially in Mexico and all these Latin American countries, you got documents that are thousands of years old that are handwritten, and it was done by some Catholic priest,
Hmm.
and nobody can read that handwriting. And we take that handwriting, and using AI and machine learning, we convert it so that you can now search it online, and you can find out who your ancestors were, and you can learn their history, and you can put all of that online or together so that you can share your history with other people. So it's actually a fascinating thing, and it's a super challenging problem that we're trying to solve. Uh, that's just one instance, those old Catholic priest handwritten documents, but there's literally billions of documents in the world that need to be transcribed, and we help do that.
It's crazy that you're mentioning those old documents. I just thought of there are some codexes and things that we have from priests and things that even the writing style is not the same anymore.
It's so different. Yeah.
The off in Spanish, de, you would put the D and the E inside of the E, D, and would be really weird. But nowadays, try to even like with my own eyes, if I don't know that, I'm like, what's that weird symbol that has like a fusion of two letters? And they were doing that, and even some that are out of style. I remember they didn't use spaces in between words that much, or they were not that noticeable. So I'm sure that's an interesting challenge. Speaking of the acronyms that you were saying, that
Yeah.
you do QA for AI on OCRs, that
Yes.
we can go super long just with
We
acronyms,
can,
and in
for
the end it's
sure.
FTP sent to. We love to do that in IT.
Yes.
And
As you're talking about these acronyms, like in Spanish, you have everybody's name Maria,
yeah.
and the priest didn't want to write out Maria, which seems like it's not a very long name,
Hmm.
but they would do MA,
Hmm.
right, for Maria, and we have to learn that, and we have to teach the AI that something like that is how it was written. It's not Ma, it's Maria, and that is a person, and the AI has to translate all of that.
Funny enough, my grandmother was Maria del Carmen,
Okay, yeah,
and I remember that on her legal documents, it's Ma del Carmen.
yeah, yeah,
So we still kind of do that.
yeah,
It's crazy, all this, and I'm sure that AI gotta be interesting on catching these commonalities to a culture, to a region,
yeah,
to
yeah.
where it comes from. How did this started? Because I have a personal story about Family Search that I'm gonna share, but I'm curious. Uh, what are your activities there? How do you help on all this process, and what cool things are you seeing happening there?
Yeah, well, right now with all of these new LLMs, right? We all think that these LLMs can do everything, and we're
Think. What are you hinting at?
well, we're testing that theory, and so specifically right now we're testing all of these different LLMs and seeing which ones understand which types of documents better, which ones understand which languages better, and which, so therefore can we create a model. For example, we have models that do Spanish better than these LLMs because we have so many documents that we have already trained the models on these older documents. Funny story about that is because we've been doing all these old documents that are handwritten, our models are fantastic. They do awesome on that stuff. They can parse dates, names, places, paragraphs. They understand all of that. You hand them a modern form and they go, "What is that?" Because
Huh.
there's lines on it. Why are there lines on my document? Why is the
Like a notepad,
yeah,
notepad lines. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like Notepad or a form that you fill out when you go into the DMV or for a marriage certificate,
Ah,
and it's this beautiful form. It's really easy to read for us, but
but
we
not a
haven't trained our
trained.
AI to do it, and so the AI actually struggles on that. As a tester, that's a fascinating problem: is the different types of forms and how does the AI understand or not those different types of forms.
That's really interesting, and it makes me think of, first of all, congrats, because sounds like it's one of the first companies that I hear of that are truly training models to be used on this rather than just throwing everything at an LLM so that
Yeah.
it can figure out everything. And uh, I've been repeating this a lot, burning tokens like crazy,
We do burn a lot of tokens, but we do it with
but you could
purpose.
be burning more
We could
if
be
you were
burning a
not
lot more.
careful with this
This is
process.
very
What
true.
you guys are doing, training them in advance
Yeah,
instead of just like, yeah, let's throw every time a new document, a new thing, so that let the AI figure it out with all the context, everything, blah, 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 in every conversation. That would be way, way worse.
it would be, yes.
And I'm sure that's why your model is way better at recognizing all this, because you are training it. It's not a general purpose LLM
Correct.
like many other companies and people are using them. And that makes me think of, on the QA perspective, how do you test that? What process, what things are you actually doing to make sure that this is truly, or should we train more the model, other models, or what actions are you and your team doing?
So there's a lot. So I'm going to summarize.
Yes, yes, yes.
Our goal is to ahead of time determine what metrics matter to us. So, for example, again, we have like 1.5 billion documents, and that just takes a lot of time to process. A lot of tokens are
Hmm.
being burned, a lot of processing power, and sometimes as a company, you're trying to share all this data. We definitely don't have time to validate 1.5 billion documents. So we reduce the scope and we test 1 or 2 thousand documents, different form types, different languages, and we'll have people go in and label those documents. Then we'll run it through the model and see how the model does on those documents. So we'll say, hey, we know that there are 3 names in this document, there's 3 places, there's 10 dates. And then we'll see what the output is from the model. And we'll say, how many of those did you get correct? And of course, you've heard of F scores, right? And precision and recall. And so we use all of that to
So
determine
for
the
the
score.
audience, what's an F score?
So an
No,
F
not
score,
everybody knows that. Yeah.
yeah. So an F score is the score that we give to a model, the output of that model based on the precision and the recall. So how well did it determine what is in the document, and is it in the document, and then is it accurate
How
in that
good is the
document? How
model?
good is the model?
Mm-hmm.
So we use that all the time. Every day we're looking at the F score to say, okay, is the model better today, or is it worse today?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're talking about 1 million documents or 1 billion documents, 1%
It's a
on that model is
huge.
actually huge, right? So we're learning all about those scores and what matters to us and what doesn't matter to us. Because, for example, the article de or da in Spanish, not as important if it's in a long paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's part of a name, that's very important. And so we'll rank that and rate that as important or not important. So names, super important. Dates, super important. Places, super important. And the F score will be based on those things, where the other text may not receive as much value. And so we may give it a higher or lower score depending on those. That's part of the testing process, is producing all of this data. We call it truth data, running it through a model, seeing how it scores against that truth data.
What I find fascinating is that the score data you said,
Uh-huh.
which is a departure point. Is it created by humans checking the documents,
It is.
who are the actual
Right?
like
Yeah.
true eyes,
Yes.
and that's the QA side that you have to generate that
Yeah.
to compare against what
The
the ML.
the models, LLMs, and everything is not. They're not good enough yet for us to say, here's a document, run it through the AI. The AI can create the truth data. It can't do that yet. We would love for that to work, but it doesn't quite do that. So we'll use the AI to help us. We'll say, okay, here's a document, see how well you can do. And then we'll use that to help us create the truth data. But at the end of the day, there are humans that are looking through that truth data, creating that truth data, so that we can then test the model.
You are earlier on one of these interviews. Excuse me. We were talking a little bit about the lack of most of the users of AI nowadays are just like embracing the general LLMs with all the tokens, and many do not even deal in concepts like the weight, the
Yeah, weights and
vectors,
biases, and yeah, right.
all the true meaning of token. And it sounds like you are truly digging into this because when you tell me like, hey, a first name and last name, the de has a big weight if it's inside of this vector,
Yeah,
but if it's like anywhere else, like, it's okay.
yeah,
Uh, you guys are working a lot
we
through
do
that,
work on
right?
that. Yes.
And are you facing any like interesting challenges, or you're the first person that comes that says like, we are truly training and working on those, and I know the weight of a vector. What does that mean?
Yes, yes, we do. There's so many interesting challenges with what we do. We could spend all day talking about this stuff, but here's a silly one.
Ooh, I like silly.
Silly. So the way that we get these documents is somebody will go out to Mexico and they have this old document. Okay, old document. Maybe it
Really old.
maybe it's ripped. All right. Well, that's a challenge, right? Is what do we do with the document that's ripped? Is the page missing, or does it just have a tear in it? Okay, those are challenges. But sometimes we have a document that actually is a form. Okay, so it's got lines. It's beautiful. It's got these nice lines down it and lines across, and the name, first name, last name, and you can read it. As humans, we can read it just fine. But when you take a picture, the document doesn't lie flat. And so you know how a book, when you lay it on the table, it doesn't, and so it's got a little ripple in it. That ripple causes all sorts of problems for the AI. And so we have to figure out how to train the model to understand that that ripple is still the same line.
I never thought of that because on one hand, just think of something as silly that the middle of the book for a plane, when you put it downside on a photocopier, think of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, the letters in the center get or stretch or
They're
compressed,
yeah, yeah,
first of all,
yes,
because from the perspective, that's how vision works. And next, they start to kind of turn into the edge of the page
yeah.
where the book is being like pressed. That gotta be like driving crazy the
The
recognition,
AI just doesn't understand what to do with that.
because I have seen some special scanners for books where it's like a triangular scanner when you insert the book to avoid some of those things.
Yeah,
But most probably the people that are scanning these books is just like, I had like a regular scanner, I put it down,
yeah.
so that's how
Or
we
we
have
use
to
a
work with.
camera, but again, we're talking about a book that's sold. We don't want to squish it.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
don't want to break the binding, right? And you don't want to rip the pages in it.
Old
And
old books.
old books, so you got to be really careful with those.
Wow. Challenges for modern technology coming from old things that you have to deal with, like
Yeah,
these really really old books, the way in which we used to, well, still do, put paper together to build a book
yeah.
or a registry. Even if you I was reading the other day about some problems when the documents were not in book form but rolled.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's another big
That's
set of
another big
situations,
yes,
right?
yes.
I can tell, like, keep it straight, keep it steady, like,
Yeah,
but don't cheer it. Oh,
yeah, yeah. Yes.
it's gotta be a great challenge. And I mean, you have all sorts of possible sources of problems that I can see. I mean, from the recognition, from the AI, from the scanning, from the even the storage gotta be interesting,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
um, do you get problems because of the definition of the image?
Yeah,
Has to be high definition, right?
yeah. We want as high resolution or definition as we can get, but then you get into tokens again,
Uh-huh.
because do you want to send a 20 megabyte
Image,
image, or would you prefer to send a 1 megabyte? Again, thinking billions.
bitmap or JPG.
But and how do we parse that, map it? How do we tile it so we can send part of the image? But if you send part of the image at a time because you're trying to send it across the wire, then
The
where
memory
do
of
you
the
cut it
model.
off? Where do you cut off the image because we're trying to read words? And how does it put it back together? Does it put it back together? All of those are challenging. Mind
Wow.
blown.
No, no, no. I never thought that's something that as a user, it looks trivial. It looks like, yeah, this company is just scanning a bunch of documents and
Right.
trying to figure out patterns.
Yes.
But the depth and the challenge, and I'm being mind blown on the first door that you opened, and like, oh, and then this, oh, and then this, oh, there, oh, here, all over the place. There gotta be, man, you have an interesting job, an interesting day to day, I'm sure.
It is. It is. And it's much slower than we would like it to be. I challenge all of the vendors here. I said, anybody who can solve my problem, we have a lot of money that we would like to give you for solving this problem. And they're like, oh, well then we'll do it. And I'm like, okay, here's the challenge.
And
You've got
then,
millions of documents and you need to translate all of those millions. But that's not even the hard part. Now you have to validate that you did it right. The testing problem is exponential with everything that could be on that page. How do you test for all of that? And by the way, we don't test for all of it. We can't.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we
That's
have
what I
to
was
do
gonna
good
say.
enough, right? And that's where it's kind of like ChatGPT, where they tested and they said, okay, it's good enough. Now let's see what people think about it. And we kind of have to do the same thing with these documents. Is we say, hey, we've tested all of these documents and they look great. So we're going to publish even more than that and see what people think about it
So
and
you're
get
testing in
feedback.
production, letting your end users
A
test.
little bit, yeah, because we have to say, is this good enough for what you're doing? Right? Because if Leandro can find his great grandfather now, right, because of a document that we published, even though it wasn't perfect, that was worth it. And so if we wait to be 100% perfect, you could be waiting for years and years and
Yeah,
years
yeah,
and
never
years.
gonna get there.
Or we can say, you know what, it's 60% perfect, but it's good enough that you can do a search for your great grandfather and find him and you go, that's good enough for me.
So the story that I was gonna share, My last name is Melendez, but that's not the original last name. Uh, 3 generations ago, my great grandfather, Irish,
Mm.
with another last name, came to the US, changed, he didn't change the last name. Had my grandfather, who was still Modi, was the original last name. I think it was here in LA that my grandfather was born. And then he was like, yep, I'm out of the US, I'm moving to Mexico. And in Mexico, one day there was like registry. They're like,
Oh yeah,
hey, we're
yeah.
getting registration. Who doesn't have a birth certificate? Who wants one?
Who wants?
And he was like, okay, good opportunity. Instead of his name was Lee Mori, and now I'm gonna be Leandro Melendez. And that's how it happened. And we in the family have always been curious. And I was like, let's see if a Google search or something can bring out the name of my great grandfather. And on Family Search, I
And family
remember
search.
there's, I mean, I don't have a license or I don't pay the service, but it gave me a bit of information like, yeah, your great grandfather was here, and even here, Lee Mori. And like, that's my
That's
my
him.
grandfather, and
Yeah.
that's here. And he moved to Mexico. And like, how did they match that? I was like, mind blown.
Mind blown.
and
Yes.
and it's something kind of silly simple. And when I was like, how did they match that? Now that you're talking about, I'm like, wow, it's
Yeah.
effective, it
Yeah.
works. And
Yeah.
I can see how the connections are happening. And it's really impressive, because if you want to know, this was the story of my aunt and my father, like, yeah, your great grandfather was like, but were histories and we were not sure.
Right.
But there were links. I couldn't click on the links because I don't have the service. But I was like, here's the document of the birth certificate of your great grandfather in Ireland, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I can look at that?
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Cool.
That's a great story.
Really,
That's
really,
really
really
cool.
cool.
Confirms all of those
Those stories. Yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah.
those legends, right? The
Yeah,
legends are
because
true.
for a moment, I mean, that's why I don't look that Mexican. And that's what happened. But everybody were like, nah, it's just my grandfather making up stories, like trying to feel more special.
Right?
Like we're Irish from the.
Yeah,
No, it
yeah.
was right. And
It's true.
it traced and even told what was the port where he
Yeah,
entered
yeah.
through and
Hmm.
all that. It wasn't Ellis Island. I think it was south of it. But it's like, here's history recognized, translated, put together with a meaning,
Yeah.
and recognizing who was daughter. Blah, blah, blah. I couldn't believe it. The work that you guys do is impressive. And now that I hear the challenges that you go through. Wow. And that makes me think of, how does that influence your talk? And what was your talk? May you spoil it a little bit?
Absolutely. So first, I'm going to put a plug in for the service that we provide, FamilySearch.org. It's free, so you can actually use our service for free. You don't need a license.
Probably that's why
So
I could see some
that's
areas.
probably why you saw so much. Yep. But feel free, everybody, go out,
Go and
and
check it
again, it's
out.
free, and it's not a bait and switch. We don't sell anything, so we can't sell you anything. Just go out. But to your point, you can start doing your research.
Hmm.
Now we do tie into other services because there are other companies that offer their services and they charge. We try to pull in as much data as they'll allow us for
Probably
free,
that's where I got stuck
and
and I
that's
couldn't go
probably where you
further.
got stuck because you probably a document that somebody else owns,
Okay.
and so it was like click on this and then you probably had to pay for that, or sometimes we do have a license with them and you
Mm.
can go through Family Search and see the document for free in our service. So
Because I saw a few things
yeah,
and I was like, oh, this is for free, open. And
yeah,
on
yeah,
some areas where I clicked, it requested probably that situation.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, again,
Check it out. Then,
no bait and switch. Go try it out. Add yourself, add your parents and your grandparents, and see how far back you can go, and then start to do searches to find
all those
these urban
references.
legends
Yeah,
that
yeah,
are
yeah.
actually true.
Family history was
Yeah,
real, not history.
it's real. Uh,
Was history not a story?
yes, yes.
Your
Okay, so
talk.
my talk was cracking the code of AI systems, and specifically walking through each of the different types of AI systems that we have today. And I kind of used a bank app as an example where AI is getting into everything. And now we have AI code that's generated with AI. We have features that may have AI in those features.
Mhm.
We have AI and ML models or algorithms that may be used. And then we have AI chatbots. And now we even have AI agents that can go out and do whatever it is that they want to do. And there was a great talk by Dione
Mhm.
earlier about the
The keynote
chatbots. And
today.
yeah, that was fantastic. So I talked about how do we test all these and what's the difference. The biggest point that I like to make is it's still just testing. And that's important to remember that testing is providing inputs, something happens, and then we check that the outputs match what we're expecting. Now, it's a little bit harder with AI, as Dione pointed out, because it's non deterministic. And I like to use a very simple example because we all understand an example of what is 2 plus 2. And for the longest time,
It was 4.
it was 4, but it's changing now.
Mm-hmm.
How does it change? Well, 2 plus 2 is still 4. But if you ask an LLM,
Could be
do you
four point
type
zero
in
zero zero zero.
2 plus sign 2, or did you ask a question is 2 plus 2, and then how does it respond? Does it 4, does it just say 4 word FOUR 4,
Uh-huh.
or does it say the answer to the question 2 plus 2 is 4? Well, your automation just broke because automation doesn't handle all of those different outputs anymore. And you can't account for all of the different ways that it may say 4 because it could come out in so many different ways.
Llama in Meta, even if I ask it in English, it knows somehow and keeps
That you speak
answering in
in
Spanish.
Spanish. Yes.
So it will not say 4, it will say cuatro.
Yes.
And that is the same. That's a great example.
Yeah. But that's a correct answer.
Uh-huh.
Or is it? And that's the question, is what is your expected output? And I was just suggesting that it's still the same though. As testers, we need to test the output. And is the output what I'm expecting? Is cuatro an acceptable answer? Under
Because
the
it's correct.
circumstances, it's okay for you. But if it were for somebody who doesn't speak Spanish, they would say that's not an acceptable answer for me because it's not 4. I want to see the number 4 or the word FOUR 4 and not something else. So these are what we call guardrails that we can put in place so that we say acceptable answers are these, unacceptable answers are these. And that's a way to categorize our testing now that we haven't had to worry about in the past.
Yeah, that you're kind of breaking me a little bit here because I'm thinking on the possibilities. Because the question 2 plus 2, without the context, of course, you can build your prompt as a professional prompt engineer and say like, give me the answer in a number format with no decimal space and in non-imaginary terms,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
imaginary terms,
Yeah,
blah blah
yeah.
blah blah blah, and you can keep narrowing it.
Correct.
But that also defeats the purpose as well of the
Of the
type of
LLM.
testing that you have to do on
Yeah,
an LLM.
yeah.
Whoa.
Some people have said, well, a way that we can automate this is we can give it a multiple choice question. So given
You're
the
forcing the
you
test.
are still forcing the test. So you're proving logic, but you're removing all of the non-determinism that exists and that we want to test in an LLM.
Boy, I wish I have attended to your talk. But I just got the sign that we need to wrap it up. Oh my God, all this AI conversation. Amigo Kevin, I would like to follow up on this. It's really, really awesome, really, really deep on AI, which is right now the rage. I love that on your talk, you were differentiating a chatbot, an LLM, what's a model, all the little, you'd say like, yeah, that's salt and that's pepper, but still condiments. Yeah, but we are all using condiments and we don't know exactly which ones and how to interact and how should we be testing one or the other. And it's not the same a model for numbers, chats, image generation. That
Right.
gotta be a whole can of worms. Amigo Kevin, to wrap it up, because yeah, we already went over time. We gotta keep moving with the schedule today. It's a busy day on the second day of Star West 2025. Amigo Kevin, where people can get in touch with you, follow up with what you're doing, or send you some interesting questions around all these things that you're making us
Absolutely.
twist our brains around and think of.
Hopefully, we can put your brain back.
Flying all over the place now.
Yeah.
That's
LinkedIn is the best place. Kevin Pyles. Just look me up, and that's the best place to connect with me and kind of see what I'm up to. But ask questions, and then I'll post on whatever you want me to post on, or answer any of the questions that are out there.
he seems to be like a treasure chest of information and very accurate answers on AI stuff that if you want to go deep into it, I think he's your man.
Thank
Really,
you.
really. Check it out. LinkedIn. His name should be here on the bottom on the screen. Just add FamilySearch because I think you have some doppelgangers in LinkedIn.
Maybe.
Just make sure
Yeah,
that you put
FamilySearch will help
ping the
you.
right
Will help you
Kevin.
find me for sure.
Kevin, thank you very
Yeah,
much. It has been a pleasure.
my
Really,
pleasure.
really, so much fun. And there you have it. Lots of deep AI talk that just happened, ideas, things where things can go wrong, just with recognizing images. Just that little thing can get all sorts of crazy. So this is not over yet. Kevin was maybe, again, I'm hinting stuff, the last interview of the day. Now we're going to go and run to kind of just a little bit of food and then give you the last part of the expose and run. After that, we have Jana, I keep changing the pronunciation, Jana's panel, where you will have Kevin again. He will be bringing all these mind blowing things. There's going to be a Slido there, I'm almost sure. Check it out. We're going to be publishing it here in the stream so that you can send your questions and ask Kevin more questions if you have now. And we're going to close up today with the last run around the conference while everybody's going back to their places. With that, we're wrapping it up. Leandro out, Kevin out. Adios.
We're out.
Take care, everybody. And